My name is Aurimas. I'm a founder of CyberUpgrade, which is your painkiller for all the DORA-related aspects. What is DORA? Digital Operational Resilience Act. It's not simple. There are a lot of things to do. If I was a CISO or a compliance manager, I would probably be now running across the organization trying to look for data, evidences, trying to build procedures, and the number of documentations which are needed in order to comply. However, fintech and financial industry regulation has never been simple. I've seen that. I've done it myself. For more than a decade, I've been running a critical core banking infrastructure business, which I eventually exited by selling to one of the bigger European fintech unicorns called SumUp in 2021. And what I'm doing at the moment is I'm trying to connect the dots between my extremely practical experiences in the past and the new regulatory requirements which are emerging as we speak. And as a result, I would like to show you the following. So what I would like to show you today is a couple of very simple workflows which will probably help to understand the idea. But those workflows, as we launch those workflows in our custom organization, we usually divide people into technical and non-technical because regulatory aspects and requirements, they can be divided into technical and non-technical. So the first workflow which I'm showing to you at the moment is a technical one. So as you can see, this algorithm is able to ask questions. It is able to challenge. It is able to provide a task. It is able to communicate and understand the context. And that's exactly what I'm doing at the moment in this specific example. This algorithm is able to collect data and turn it into something that is meaningful. But what is most important, it involves into the process every single member of our custom organization, because this is where resilience is. As we understand the context, we always ask for evidence. The algorithm says, well, what you told me is nice, but I don't really believe you. Give me evidence. For example, in this case, it is asking for a screenshot of a specific solution which is used in the organization. In the ideal world, it would probably be looking for something similar to this. I will zoom in a second. Something that has a timestamp, something that actually shows what is working in the organization. Maybe it also shows vulnerabilities. Maybe it shows that status is not ideal. But that's the idea. So basically, what we want to collect with this algorithm is we want to collect the reality. We want to understand what is actually happening in the company, put it in the report. We can call it an evidence database, something that actually reflects your reality, right? The other workflow which I would like to show you is a little bit more complex one. So the first one was only meant to collect evidence. A few questions, understanding the context, and now we go into something a little bit deeper. The other workflow is, you will see it will have a number of the other aspects as well. All of those workflows, we start in a very similar way. The idea is, first of all, to understand the context. So this algorithm is trying to understand who you are, what you do, what is your role in the whole cyber governance process, things that you have access to, things that you don't have access to. Essentially, it's trying to understand the risk and evaluate that risk of you as a human in that organization. And at some stage, it starts to connect the dots. So I collected some information. I realized that the person who is talking to me has access to the cloud infrastructure. And then immediately this algorithm connects the dots. It says, well, it thinks that if you have access to the cloud infrastructure, you must really use your passwords in a secure way. And it immediately tries to implement a control. It says, well, do you have a password manager, which is treated as one of the good measures in order to manage passwords? If I say that I do, the next steps are going to be very similar to the previous workflow which I showed. Let me respond no, so it will be a little bit more interesting. As you can see, immediately the algorithm reacts. It says, hey, well, that's wrong. That's not the way it should be. Let's improve it. And then it kicks off a task that has an objective. It has options. It has justification why those options have been suggested, and also next steps. It says, hey, take a look and let me know what you think. Well, let me respond to it. So for example, I say, I like Keeper, which is a nice Swedish password management product because it is, cheap. Let's see what happens. It says, thank you. Yeah, we will evaluate it and come back to you. And with this, well, we collect a database of know-how. As you can imagine, we collect a lot of data about every organization, which we then aggregate at the company level, at different security area level, But most importantly, well, I love this picture. Well, I call it a bridge between the paper compliance, which is your red line, which is essentially your objective, and real operational security that is implemented in your company, which is the blue line. Compliance does not equal security. Compliance does not equal resilience in the organization, right? So I've seen many organizations moving documents from the left to the right, from the right to the left, and calling it security. Well, that's not the case, right? So as we speak, well, this algorithm will go through the organization, through hundreds and thousands of different controls, collect real operational aspects, what is actually happening, and compare it to your policies. You have policies, right? Well, they might be paper-based, they might be real, but in this case, on the left side, we see policies. On the right side, we have policy controls, which have been implemented, which actually work in the organization. We have evidence for that. We have proof for that. And as you can see, it compares the dots. So these are the things that work. These are the things that should be working. And there's an overlap of only 25%. And as a result, we kick off tasks. We say, hey, this needs to be done, that needs to be done. And this way, this algorithm is proactively guiding the whole organization through the security process, but also through the compliance and resilience process. And that's exactly what you want to do if you want to meet, on the one side, regulatory requirements, but also on the other side, if you want to be a resilient organization as well. We have a stand here. Welcome to speak to us. Thank you very much, and looking forward to the next iterations.